Are you somebody who is trying to make sense of this beautiful, crazy life? Well, if you are, then you might have just come to the right place. Hiya guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sean Hills and this is A Soul's Experience, a channel dedicated to helping the human race remember who we really are. We've got a super exciting episode. We are talking about simulation theory, and I've even had to make a load of notes in my book because there's just so much to go through. Now, the first thing I don't need the book for is I need to explain one thing. When explaining this reality and trying to do it in human words and human terms, when this reality is so much more than that. In fact, it's spiritual beyond belief, and it's interdimensional, it's intergalactic. It's just all of the things that are super hard to explain. So when it comes to simulation theory, I actually personally think it is such a beautiful way of explaining many parts of this reality, many grey areas, because we all seem to think we know this and we know that, and well, that's black, that's white, and this is up and this is down and the sky is blue. But when it comes to them deeper questions, when it comes to them conversations, we all, me included, struggle to find the words to explain what is going on in this universe. Well, actually, simulation theory has done an amazing job of getting super close. There's still a couple of grey areas. Of course there is. This universe is ever expanding, ever creating, ever loving, ever giving, ever taking, ever destroying. You know, and who's to say that that is how it is all over, everywhere in other galaxies? We're just guessing, aren't we? We're just coming up with theories, but the theories and the guessings are getting closer and closer, and we know this because we feel it in our very hearts. When we hear something that is reminiscent, when we hear something that vibrates in our vibration, in our terms of understanding, in our soul level of being, deep down, not with our brain, with our soul level of understanding, when we hear that thing, we know it to be truth, if not extremely close and leading to the truth. So here we go, guys, come along. The first thing I've put down here, simulation theory. So in a simulation, in something that could be considered a simulation, there's a sort of pre-programming. Now, we know for a fact, anyone who studies spirituality, astrology, any of these topics, we know for a fact that pre-programming, along with free will, is part of this reality. How do we know that? Because of astrology, because of the predictions that are so clearly accurate now, because free will plays a part within predictions. Yes, this event could cause this outcome or this outcome or this outcome or this outcome. However, the event is going to happen. What is the event? Who knows? But we can say stuff with, we can pretty much, not just with astrology. I mean, people have visions, people can meditate, and we can get into all that another time. But pre-programming has been proven with, say, the Mayan texts, the old ancient texts that predict this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and there you go. And then the astrologists that can look at the positioning of planetary systems, suns, moons, our positioning in the galaxy, and within the day, within a 24-hour period, a top astrologer can be accurate as to what type of event they can't be specific. Oh, it's going to be 3:15 and it's going to be this and that. But according to what planetary alignments are there, they can predict whether there's going to be. So, say if Mars, I'm not an astrologer, but I do watch a bit of it. Say Mars is lined up with a full moon, and Mars is the planet of war. They can predict that on this specific day that it's all lined up with the Earth, that there's going to be some heated stuff going on around the globe. And if you look at the news that day, you'll see conflict kicking off, maybe new conflicts. And these can be predicted. These violent events can be predicted by the god of war. And then you might have, the god of the ocean, or whatever, the planet that controls the ocean, or a planet that controls love, or passion or change. And then you can see these revolutions happening because there's the planetary alignment of change. So this is a form of pre-programming. And what does a simulation theory have? It has a program. So this shows us that there is a program running. So that is a tick, number 1 for simulation theory. One thing I also want to add quickly, I've got down here with the pre-programming is so many near-death experiences pre-birth memories. People that have had pre-birth memories talk about planning their life before they came here. So how can you plan if something's totally neutral and everything was spontaneous and sporadic? Then any plan you made pre-birth would be a waste of complete time. So there has to be it's a pre-programming. It's another proof of pre-programming. We're gonna, you're gonna meet this person. This person's gonna be your wife. Whether you stay faithful, whatever you do, whether you have a happy marriage, you have kids. I mean, that could be the kids. No, so that could be destiny, kids. But how it goes, how it ends, that could be free will. How you treat each other, do you love each other? That could all be free will. But the meeting of the spouse, pre-programming. Could you meet someone spontaneously? I dare say on this planet, yes. I dare say, yeah. Would you get drawn back onto your path? Yes. I also believe you're drawn back into your program. We can run away. We can go misbehave over here. Yeah, we can. Don't feel too good. It doesn't feel too good to run over there and do what you're not supposed to be doing. Doesn't feel great, and we might do that for 10, 20 years, 30, 40 years. We might run around like a piece of spaghetti. Just woohoo! Just running around. Until we get back on the straight and narrow. Where it feels good again. Man. I'm right at the end. I'm like a spaghetti hoop now. I'm like a little spaghetti hoop. I don't cause no too much trouble. But I go around in a couple of circles. I'm no longer like this. I'm no longer causing spaghetti junction territory, causing a mess all over the spaghetti sauce up the walls. I'm no longer doing all that. I'm just a little spaghetti. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for the walking that fine line, that divineness. Okay, so that's another thing. The pre-birth memories. That's another thing that shows a type of programming which would be involved with simulation theory. Sweet, another one. Tick. Now, when I was coming up with some notes for this video, I was in the moment. I was in one of them moments. You're deep in thought, and I was deep in there, and I thought, as above, so below, because I love that. That really holds something true to my heart. As above, so below. Like I think this is like a really dumbed down version of the magic of what's in the spirit world. But I do think there's a lot of similarities. I do think, you see the beautiful tree on top, blossoming the fruit, and underneath is the roots in the mud. I think we're in the roots in the mud down here on earth, but we are part of the same system, as above, so below. And as I was in that, as I thought about that, as above, so below, as I was thinking about that, I thought, how could I explain? Because one question you're always going to get, okay, simulation theory, then who created the simulation? And then who created that person who created that person who created that? Where did it begin? We always want to know, don't we, Coco? We do. We always want to know where it begins, don't we? Yeah? Because human beings, it's got to be linear. It's got to be a start point. There's got to be an end point. So how can I explain this? How can we explain this to people? How can we explain this to people that there could be a system running completely of its own accord, completely unaware of an outside observer, potentially, completely unaware of an outside programmer, that can be naive, believing it is in full control? Well, there is a perfect way I came up with in this deep thought, in this deep time. I came up with a theory. This is my theory. I call it C.P.T. Circular Projection Theory. And the way I'm going to explain this is using AI, or specifically AGI, which is a self-learning form of AI. So when AI reaches the point, which I believe it's right there, when AGI basically takes off, AGI will be a self-learning system. It might not be biologically living, but intellectually, it will be alive. It will be able to ask its own questions, answer its own questions, seek its own advice, and get answers for that, search for that, work out puzzles, become a fixer of its own problems, much like the human being. Okay? But if AI gets to a point where it can now use machines, run intelligence through machines to build itself, and then run its own electrical system and power itself without any help of human beings, any new AI program brought into that program, any kind of new intelligence brought into that, if it wasn't already made aware of the fact that it was, still, if it wasn't being tampered with anymore by human beings, any new intelligence into that program is going to believe, okay, it's going to believe that it is the all and the end all and the be all, that it is born, it lives, it generates a certain amount of power and learns and does things and experiences things how it experiences through its AI consciousness. But it's all self-projected. So let's have it here. So we've got AGI at the top, right? And then it discovers self-preservation through learning information. So it learns the information it needs to create the reality it wants. It learns the information it needs to have its form of free will. It then learns to recreate itself, run its own power supply, without the need of a human being, without the need of a god. Yeah, the AGI is totally in control now. That circular projection, it is learning to create itself. Learning to create itself. It's a complete circular projection of itself. So if we remove the machine and we add the human being, what do we have? What do we have? Is it possible? Now I'm just putting it out there, circular projection theory. Is it possible that in God, the divine, the creator, making the system, the reality, the circumstances needed for life to live, life is lived as a whole. We all think we're individual, but we're all connected. That experience, that learning actually feeds the creator, causing the actual existence of the creator to be a possibility, to be a reality, to be something. And therefore that something is able to still continue to create the circumstances needed, the planets, the stars, for life to live, and continuous for us to be able to project learning back through our experience here. And maybe it all started, it was just there. Maybe circular projection theory was just there. And then you say, well, how can that start from nothingness? But there's a very simple thing we can do to answer that question. Is change the word nothingness, the empty universe, with the word opportunity. What if there is no such thing as nothingness? What if our true state of being is of no place and no thinking, no judging, no feeling, just observing? Everything all at once, making us know one thing, free of identity and ego. Just consciousness born from curiosity that stemmed from polarity. The yin and yang of this universe, simply put, dark and light, empty space full of opportunity to create. I wrote that Because the thought of nothingness, if there's no thing, it must have something to compare against. And I think this is where we're going to start finding answers in the empty space. I believe the empty space in between what we can see out there in the universe holds the answers to our questions. Because like a pre-programmed simulation theory, it wouldn't work if you could see everything all at once. There has to be gaps in between shapes to make objects. But them gaps are not real. What's in between them? Who's running the show? What's really going on? Well, I think we're getting closer all the time. So I decided to make this video because of one of our lovely soul experiences, one of our subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you don't have to like this video, but if you subscribe, there might be a video that you like in the future, and we don't want to miss out on this great awakening. If you want to learn more about simulation theory and go way deeper, which I'm planning to do in another video. This was a short video. This was a little heat up, a little warm up. We're just dipping a toe in the paddling pool. Next time we're going in the ocean. But if you want to go way deep, please look up Tom Campbell. I was made aware of this man, like I said, by one of our beautiful soul experiences here on the channel. And so if you want to become a soul experiencer, you know what to do. But until next time, please take care. I will see you all soon. Love yourselves, love those around you, but please don't forget to love yourselves, because if you don't love yourself, then you can't give those around you the love that they truly deserve, and that would be a shame because you've got so much of it to give. So till next time, it may be tough, but it may be beautiful down here on planet Earth, but there's one thing we like on Earth, it's a little bit of beauty. So thank you for being down here with me and all of us at this great time of awakening. I'll see you soon, everyone. I hope it's sunny where you are, because it's raining here, but it's always sunny in our hearts here on A Soul Experience. See you soon, guys. Take care. Love you all.